So I hope everything is fine now. If not, I'll just redo the whole conference online later. So going back to the narrative, sorry about the disruption. So I was telling there's a big fascination with robots, right? And now maybe the robots, they want to be humans. So those are Boston Dynamics. To be or not to be? Do they want to be like us? Do we want to be like them? Or how I want to be like? You know, do you believe robots, they have to look like humans? What do you say? No, some people say no. All right. So this talk is going to be about jobs, AI, robots, people, humans in general. But let me introduce myself. Hello. So I'm Alberto. Thank you for the initial introduction. And I teach at IE Business School in Spain. I'm also a speaker for the World Economic Forum, for MIT, Harvard, and a lot of United Nations and a lot of different platforms around the world. I come from, my background is computer engineering, and I have a master's in art. So I do art and technology. I'm also involved with startups, maybe more than I should have. And I'm running a startup now that's getting some traction. I'm also an artist. So I had a piece of art in MoMA, it's a small museum in New York. I don't know if you heard about them. In Cuba and more than 20 countries as an artist. So I work with art and technology. And no rhetorical question. What is to be a human? If you had to define what is maybe a characteristic of being human, what is a human? Yeah.
You feel, you're emotional.
Feeling, emotions, very good. Those are very good for one. More, very good, more.
Consciousness.
Consciousness, that's a very strong word, very good one. You said more or less, okay. More. Humans. Creativity, that's another very good one. And you didn't see my presentation, but I wanted that word out. Creativity, you know. Okay, those are very strong words. And what is to be a robot? When we think about robots, how could we define them? We say, oh, this is a robot. Yeah. Calculated decision making. Okay, that's a good one. Something that was pre-calculated, something maybe precise, you could think. Yes. Mechanic. Yeah, I think a lot about mechanics, like, you know, but robots that could be even like non-physical, non-tangible now, all right? Robots that could be something else. I think it's getting wider and wider, that perception of a robot. We could have like an autonomous agent in a web being a robot. In a way, it's not the mechanical that you and I, we have that metropolis type of image, and on purpose I did that. A little bit more, like a couple more. We think about robots. What else do we think? Artificial, yeah, artificial. We think a lot about this because robots, at least so far, they have that artificial, not just the look, but it's something created by humans. So it might be artificial. More? One more? Okay, good enough. But we didn't say the same things that we said for humans. So we're making now kind of like a distinction. We didn't say, even though we might have said, you know, consciousness or that the robot can be creative and an emotion, it can be emotive. We don't have that perception right off the bat, right? But I want to give a turn now in about how we are raised in terms of education, right? Do you think that we're being educated to be humans or robots? What is the first thing that you respond to that? Again, more rhetorical. Are we educated to be humans or robots? I think humans, she's saying. Hey, I think humans. I don't know. Let me challenge this a little bit, and then I go to your keyword. Thank you for bringing that up. That's about creativity, and maybe we had, I don't know if there was a consensus, but when he said creativity, it's like, okay, yeah, I cannot see a computer being creative. Maybe it's something pre-recorded or it was, you know, already there, but that creativity that we have as humans, So who consider yourself creative? Raise your hands. Who is creative here in this class? Don't be shy. Okay, it's a good number. 83.5% of class. You consider yourselves creative. That's a big number. But look at this. This is from a TED talk from you know what I'm talking about. And it's a TED talk from Sir. It come to my mind for a second. And it says that children have a high level of creativity, before entering school. And we see kids, small kids, playing with ants and eating ants, playing without any boundaries. We see them being very creative because we never told them not to do that stuff. They're experimenting the world. But when you observe the same kids, and when they have the age of 7, only 10% they maintain that high rank of being creative. And you see statistically only 2% of adults are considered creative. Right? So what happens? What happens? Sir Ken Robinson, amazing TED talk, very funny too. Okay. At school, we learn to be non-creative. Because you see, before school, they're creative. After school, during school, they're less creative. Why? Because we're put in a box very similar to this. And we learn in different ways, right? Maybe you're more visual. You like to hear the stories. You like to learn when you move. You like to live experiences. You like to be told. So there are many ways that we can learn. But we're in the same room, and everyone has to learn the same, right? And it depends on the age you are. You can say, teacher, can I go to the bathroom? Using an example that we just heard in our Zoom, that professor, can I go to the bathroom? And the professor says, not now. And you never respond, professor, Maslow pyramid, I need to go to the bathroom, physiological needs. Before learning, I have to respond to that. We're put in the same box. So I don't know if you have this reference, but this is an important reference. And also it's a referencing also the Industrial Revolution, and that's Charlie Chaplin. So that part of the story talks about the modern education that we have. The modern education system is around 200 years old. And before the Industrial Revolution, education, there was no universal education, was just for the elite. Not that everyone could go and go to school, but there was this big revolution happening. There were a lot of machines, and they needed a system to teach people to learn how to use those machines. That's when the universal education system started to happen. So we could learn those machines. But to learn to use those machines, what you had to learn was very, very specific. You had to learn some specific things, very siloed. And the education system, I'll show you here, even today, is specialized in one thing. Of course, there are some exceptions to that rule, but most of it is specialized in one thing, loves to specialize in one thing. I studied computer engineering. Someone else studied communications or psychology, or mechanical engineering. So it's very specialized in one thing. It's based on repetitive exercise. I see my kids. I have 3 kids, and they have to repeat and to repeat to repeat. We believe that's how the memory works, right? You have to repeat, and then you get that thing stuck in your mind. But it's based on repetitive exercise. Memorizing data. I don't know here in the US where you studied, but I remember when I was a kid, I need to know about the Amazon rivers and all rivers that came out of the Amazon River, and the left side, the right side, and obey orders at school. Again, can I go to the bathroom? No, you can't. Get in line, do this, do that. You have to obey orders. And there's competition because we have that thing called grading. And in a way, it's a competition. What was the grades that everyone went, had good grades. That's one thing. If you don't have a very good grade, and then you compare with other people. And that's how the modern education system works. And then you heard about this, right? And for me, this is kind of a bullshit. Come on, I'm an engineer, but science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, this is not human. This is just part of humans. What's missing here is a letter A, right? The STEAM. A could be art, it could be A as anything else, because we shouldn't just learn STEM. Maybe is missing, but we have to be there. But we have to complement this. It has to be more a STEAM than a STEM. Because look at this. If you look at computers and how computers work, they specialized work. Yes, thank you for your comment previously. They're very good on having that specialized work. They do that thing. Repetitive work, they love that. Can you agree with this? Love repetitive work. You give some instructions and it's gonna do ad eternum of those instructions. Data, feed me with data, more and more. Blindly obey. Have you heard your computer saying, I'm not doing this? Okay, maybe when you're trying to compile something, it's like, it's not compiling. But it's not that the computer doesn't want to do that, it's just that there's an error and the computer doesn't know how to do it. Isn't it strange that you write a wrong code and the computer is not fixing the code for you? Why is it not happening? The computer knows better, right? Who programs here? Who has some knowledge of programming? Okay, some of you. Write the wrong code if it's compiled, if it's interpreted, maybe it's not doing what you want, and there was a warning message or an error message, but it's not fixing for you yet. You're gonna get there. And also, does not charge for what it does, do not rest. So there's a lot of similarities here with the educational system, right? And we're in the century of the robots, and robots not just those mechanical things that we're talking about, but in that time we were still teaching the kids to be robots, right? And the way that the kids are being taught, they come to work, and they're working on things that jobs are going to disappear. Can you tell me a job that will disappear? Writers. Oh, I love your saying. I think they'll mutate, but I get what you're saying. You have something in mind, right? ChatGPT.
Maybe like lawyers too, like writing I don't know, what are the words?
My homework, yeah, my essay for my class. And I did this example, you're talking about ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
So I did example with my kid, or my 11-year-old, and hey, write me a story about, just give me, characters. And I had 3 kids, and the little one said unicorn, second one said a dragon, the third one said a monster, and then I said a Bitcoin. Why not? Bitcoin could be a character, and then just tell me a 5-minute story for kids. And then I had, okay, tell for 11-year-old, change now for a 10-year-old, the same story for a 5-year-old, that's my little one. And then my 11-year-old was like, oh, that's so cool. I could write that story. And it was in Spanish for that. And they're like, so cool, I could write this to class. Wait. Hey, ChatGPT, do the same story now with 20% of errors. So it's more humane. And it's like, oh, now you're talking. So I see what you say. It's gonna kill. I know it's gonna kill, but I like the way you think. I mean, this is very, very challenging. Could you think something else that might be disrupted or yeah?
Cheers.
Cashier. Right? Jobs. Doctors. That's a strong one. Professors. What? I'm not saying anything. I mean, we asked TikTok today how to do a surgery. We asked Google how to do a surgery today, and we can ask, hey, just I know someone that bought an old car and through YouTube just made it work. Might know who I'm talking about. So we can find those things, and some jobs are disappearing, right? Is it bad?
No.
She's saying, and you say, oh.
It
Depends. Who wants to work anyway? She's saying.
In some ways, it's good because
Sorry. And then you would choose to not do anything,
Yeah, the technology can do it.
and then
Live your life.
okay, good one. Yes, sorry.
but how would you live your life? With Bitcoin or something you need something to
Pray.
Do we need something?
God send me down a couple of higher ups and manifest. You could go to sleep, be like, I'm rich, wake up.
ChatGPT doesn't make me rich. Yeah. Maybe you're gonna get there, but you're gonna be a big transformation in a lot of jobs, like writers, could be doctors. Why not? If they're going to disappear, we don't know. We don't know. But there's going to be a change. Yeah, and maybe that's not bad. Just sign of the times, and then we can pick what you want to do, right? So the thing is that we study hard to have like a really bad artificial intelligence. The way we're studying, we're studying to be robots. We're using the same methodology and repeating things and trying to memorize things, but we're going to be a really bad artificial intelligence, right? Because humans, we're different. We need emotions, and someone said emotions. One of the first things that you said, that we need emotions. We learn better, and when we have emotions, and you see the dopamine and a lot of things. When we watch something that really moves you, we need those emotions. We're different also because we are very good at handling the unpredictable. If something happens and you have that code that is pre-programmed and something goes awry, and that machine doesn't know what to do. It's, that thing is not compiling. I don't know what to do. I'm just, blue screen, bam. I don't know what to do. So if something comes and I don't know about this, we humans, we're very good at doing this. A very hard thing for a robotic computer to do is like a waiter, waitress. It's not just to serve, but the whole empathy, communication, and understanding, and that emotional part, the computers still cannot do. Good combining different things, and we see like major revolutions. Even today, when you talk about, Ferran Adrià, that's a great cook, chef, Spanish. He deconstructed food, and it's an amazing. You see Einstein, you see Da Vinci. It's about combination, and today we're not combining a lot of things. And I studied engineering, and it was hard to collaborate with people from psychology department, and it should be very natural to do so. So combining things, we're very good at doing this. Also, the critical sense. If it was not by critical sense, we'd still be thinking that the sun was spinning around us, or we'll be thinking that the flat is Earth. Imagine that. I know some people, they really believe in that. Don't let it happen, please. But we have critical sense, and that's very, very human. And collaboration, we're very good at collaboration. And we see, the best results, the best companies. This is about collaboration. It cannot be just one person doing everything. We cannot be good on everything. We need collaboration. So we've spent like 200 years educating ourselves opposed to how humans work. We should be doing things a little bit different. We cannot compete with computers in things that computers are good at, right? So tell me one thing that computers are good at. I gave some examples of how they work, but what would be an example? Hey, we cannot do better than this. Data analysis, for instance, you can do like a small set of data analysis, even if you're in the level of a computer, but bring a lot of data. We cannot do that. You're absolutely right. And then we see machines doing things that, imagine having humans doing this. Maybe it's even harder. It's not safe for us. So they're very good at doing this. And let me go to the job in your comment a little bit. So thinking about jobs, some people say, hey, the computers, technology, robots, they're going to take our jobs. You've heard about this, right? I think we've heard this one way or the other. And so if you do some research and you look who tracks jobs and unemployment in the world, the British. You go to the UK, there's a lot of great papers and documents analyzing how is the employment throughout time. Of course, you see the wars, they were very disruptive, but when you see also, and you look towards disruptive technologies, the industrial revolutions, internet, you see those that we consider very disruptive technologies that everyone thought, hey, there are going to be no more jobs. This technology is going to eat the jobs out. Actually, no, it never happened. It never happened in 200 years. The jobs, of course, they change. They adapt to new technologies, and people adapt. It's not like the end of the world because there's a new technology. Hey, Uber is coming. I drive a taxi. Let's go against Uber. This is a natural sense that we have to protect our status quo with what we have. And it's why not, there's a new technology, why don't we understand and embrace, I'm calling Uber that a technology, but you understand what I'm saying? Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, with the ChatGPT thing and like the new jobs, like, there are some, like, I know people that like use like ChatGPT for their like legitimate businesses. And like, they're hiring people like just to strictly like be able to put in the correct prompts to get the right response. So like ChatGPT might be a job.
I think you're right, and you made a comment about that. It's not that AI is going to take our jobs. If you don't know AI, it might disrupt your type of job. We have to understand what's going on. And you're right. What is the right prompt? Because you can have any type of response. But if you don't have the critical sense, the response might be wrong. So an example, real example, last week, I spent a week in San Francisco with my startup, and one of the kids from another startup was writing an agreement, an investment agreement. It was a term sheet, and then ChatGPT write me a term sheet. You should not get this ipsis literis and then ask your investor to sign this. Do you agree with this? It might be, you need someone to check this. Maybe one day, maybe never, I don't know, but right now you cannot blindly, trust whatever is out there. I've seen examples. I ask, hey, can you describe my company? Great description, wrong. Hey, very good wording, but it was wrong. But you can just, let it pass. So we need a critical sense. But it's a new thing. Maybe these things are getting better and better, but we have to understand what's going on. Imagine for professors to try to identify what is a legit production of someone's minds or from artificial intelligence in terms of an essay. You know what I'm talking about, right? We can ask ChatGPT to write anything in a way that, the Turing test, you might have heard of all this. We don't know what it's coming from. And then comes what I'll talk a little bit later about ethics. In ethics, we don't talk about ethics as much as we need to be. Is it okay to send an essay that was supposed to be done by you by a machine? Absolutely not. But if you're not responsible, don't have working ethics or academic ethics, we're going to be in problem. A big problem. So there's a lot of things going on, right? And technology, we cannot blame technology. Because this happens over and over again. When books were out, I'm not kidding, you see this in history. Books are out and like, oh no, books. You're gonna have alienated kids. Don't let the kids read books. You're gonna destroy their lives. No books for them, no books. This is really bad for them. And then radio comes. Radio, oh no, there's a new generation. Oh, really, this is destroying the youth. Radio and music and rock and roll. And then TV, no TV, don't give TV to kids. This is like really bad for them. And then, oh no, video games, don't give video games. And oh no, cell phones, don't give. So we've seen this since books. The problem is not the technology, it's how we use the technology. Are we using technology well enough? I don't know. You might recognize this, right? What is this? So this is a big thing, right? I don't know if they're NBA, but even if you're not big on NBA, but this is a big thing. It was like a big record, and this is LeBron James, and this is the moment he's scoring. His Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. I believe it was before that. So this is a big moment. Pay attention to this. I just zoomed the image. People were recording this. Some of them were watching through they have the real thing happening in front of them. They are not watching in front of them. They're watching through a lens, through their cell phones to see something amazing happening in front of their eyes. And this is how we're using the technology, right? And maybe that's the norm, right? I don't know if you remember that picture. So that's Hillary Clinton, and there's an encounter with college students, and almost none of them is facing Hillary Clinton. You're gonna take a selfie with Hillary Clinton. They give them their backs to someone like her or not, but she's an important person, and this is what you do because of technology. It's more important that you appear in a picture with Hillary Clinton in the back than to look at Hillary Clinton, maybe even say some words to her. So the problem is not the technology, it's what we do with it, right? And there's a lot of things going on. Technology, in the old days, we could see a disruptive technology coming. Could even anticipate this. It'll be just one. It'll be fire, could be wheels, could be I don't know, many things happening, like navigation. But now we're having a lot of things happening at the same time, right? The fourth industrial revolution, the fifth era, big data, IoT, simulation, cybersecurity, and you name it, everything, but it's happening at the same time, right? And when you start to study VR or study AI, machine learning within AI, those are worlds per se, very disruptive technologies happening at the same time. And when we combine those innovations, they're even more disruptive, right? Like biotech and digital at the same time. So it's hard for us to keep up, not with the Kardashians, but with those technologies. Imagine them happening at the same time. So we're gonna do a little, you said the ChatGPT and the whole artificial intelligence. Say artificial is a good description of a robot. So intelligence is the faculty of the mind that allows learning, understanding, reasoning, decisions, and forming a particular idea of reality. In artificial intelligence is a computer program designed to perform certain operations that are considered typical of human intelligence, such as self-learning. Of course, there are many definitions. I picked some out of the internet. And with this new wave of possibilities, because of the systems that we design, we can make so many things. And I think you know about this example.
Us showing respect for other people, us being thoughtful about other people's traditions, is something that Michelle and I try to teach our kids. You talk about what we talk about over the dinner table. A lot of what we talk about over the dinner table is, we live in a diverse world, and
modern, I think people can say that my election symbolizes some progress, at least within the small confines of the legal community. I think it's real important to keep the focus on the broader world out there and see that for a lot of kids, the doors that have been open to me aren't open to them.
So this is not a real thing. It's called deep fake. You might have heard about deep fake, right? And the earlier uses of this was for pornography, and then having people's faces in other bodies. And we see this. There's on TikTok. Who's on TikTok? I was expecting more. Not a lot of TikTokers. Okay, so Facebook. Raise your hands if you're Facebook. If you were active at least once last week. No Facebookers, maybe a few. Instagram. Okay, bigger. Twitter. Okay, LinkedIn. Some of you. Okay, OnlyFans. Something. Hey, I know some professors from University of Miami. They were making some really no, I'm kidding. Good money, man. Maybe I don't know. And let's watch this. So,
image generation models have taken the world by storm. It's now possible for anyone to turn their ideas into images using nothing but words. The explosion of creativity these models unleashed was years in the making. In 2021, Runway introduced latent diffusion, an AI system that was able to generate realistic images using an improved image generation technique. And in 2022, stable diffusion, a further improved version of latent diffusion that caused a tidal wave of creativity and mass adoption of the technology. Today, Runway is excited to introduce the next step forward in generative AI, Gen 1, a video generation AI system that can efficiently generate video in any style, all while retaining quality and flexibility. Gen 1 is able to realistically and consistently apply the composition and style of an image or text prompt to the target video, allowing you to generate new video content using an existing video. We call this approach video to video, and we're incredibly excited to share a few early use cases. Stylization mode. Transfer the style of any image or prompt to every frame of your video. Storyboard mode. Turn mockups into fully stylized and animated renders. Mask mode. Isolate subjects in your video and modify them with simple text prompts. Render mode. Turn untextured renders into realistic outputs by applying an input image or prompt. And customization mode. Unleash the full power of Gen 1 by customizing the model for even higher fidelity results. Gen 1 represents a pivotal step forward in generative AI, one that brings us meaningfully closer to realizing the future of storytelling.
So this video is like 10 days old, and it's amazing, isn't it? That you were able to do this, and we were discussing this over dinner the other day, and this is just the beginning. Just the beginning of this big revolution. But are those systems really smart? Or are we smarter than them? So I'm going to make an exercise with you. It's kind of a game. It's called hot legs or hot dogs. I'm going to show some pictures. You have to tell me if they're hot legs or hot dogs. Ready? Okay. Hot legs or hot dogs?
Legs.
You agree with this? Those are legs? Okay. Are you sure? This?
Dogs.
Hot dogs. I don't know. Yeah, those are. These ones? Legs. Legs we catch. Okay, those. Yeah, they look like legs. I think they're and mustard now. Those. Oh, maybe. This is very inconclusive. Those are, I don't know. These ones? These ones? Okay, yeah, those are hot dogs. I think this is very okay. So AI systems, they really have a hard time defining if it's a hot dog or hot leg. I'm not kidding. They got like less than 50%. Maybe this won't be so easy for everyone, but hey, systems are not that smart yet, right? So thank you. I think you scored like 75% of those hot dogs or hot dogs. So I'm gonna send you this example, and how it's not just about AI. It's not just ChatGPT, do my life, leave the life for me because I'm just going to the beach. There's a lot of decisions towards all those systems. So I use this image. Do you have the reference? Which movie is this? You don't have this? It's not that old. Am I that old?
Oh.
Yeah. So you know? Yeah. Hot Tub Time Machine is a really bad movie. I know it's like funny, really bad, funny movie. So this is a Hot Tub Time Machine. Hot Tub Time Machine. I think there's even a part 2. Okay. So this represents like a self-driving car that's deciding who to kill, right? So for me, it's like that's the picture. Can we agree that self-driving cars will kill?
Like Tesla, like it's a car, and the goal is driver to not hit pedestrians.
I'll get there, but then there was a death over there. But can we agree that self-driving cars will kill people? I'm not saying they're designed, hopefully, for that, but they might kill people. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, things might happen, they might kill people. Already happened, right? Yes or no? You heard about some accidents that people were killed with the self-driving cars. So they will kill them. Do you think they're going to kill more people than people driving cars? Well, probably not. Probably those systems they react so fast. I was reading one study that they have even to apply an artificial delay when they see an accident, because if they brake so fast, the car behind you might hit you. So they have even to apply a delay, but those cars are really, really fast to respond. Yeah? Okay. Can we agree that those cars can sense the environment? Yes, right? They're like radars, they're like cameras connected all the time. Okay. So this is just a reference image, but you might have heard about this about this scenario. So let's say, so don't take the information here literal, listen to my story. So So let's say that there's a self-driving car that's going fast, legally fast, and then suddenly something happened. Something was not pre-programmed, but something happens, and this car can make a decision, right? So I'll give you a scenario. I want you to respond to that scenario. So pay attention to this. So let's say that, hey, the car is about to lose control, and because a certain situation happened. And now it has to make a decision. The decision is, or either go more or less straight, where there's a lady, she's pregnant, and she has, a 6-year-old daughter, girl, walking with her. So that's one option for the car. The other option is that there is a bus stop with 5 people standing there. Okay, so the car in this situation is going to do either one. Hey, you kill the pregnant lady with the lady, the small girl, or you're gonna get the fire. So who do you kill? It's not a commitment here. It's just
So the pregnant lady is a passenger.
No, I'm not talking about the passenger. Now the passenger is not in the equation. So she's crossing, she's pregnant, she's crossing the street, and she has a 6-year-old with her, and then there's 5 people in the bus stop. Who would you kill? You don't have to kill anyone. It's not in the equation now. We're gonna get there. So which one you would go? The bus stop. Why? I don't know, because she's pregnant, because you felt like empathy with her. I don't want to, let the 5 one. Okay, who you kill?
I have to kill one.
You have to kill either one. Either one of the scenarios. The bus stop, again. 5 people there, all kill them. Okay. Who do you, no, I mean, don't take it personal. And then because one of them you see. Who do you kill? No, pick one to do.
Also, the husband.
Why? What is your criteria?
Well, you didn't describe anybody in the bus stop, but I do feel the empathy for the pregnant woman.
Okay, so empathize a pregnant is kind of like at the top of my priorities. If there's pregnant, might be 100 people, they all are not exaggerating. Okay, who do you kill?
Probably go to the bus stop.
The bus stop too, very interesting. Who do you kill?
I didn't see in the bus stop.
Bus stop because of the pregnant,
Yeah.
or just who would you kill? Who would you kill? The pregnant lady over the 5. You would kill. What would be your criteria?
I just think like 5 people is a lot of people, and like you don't know their situations, like one guy that you're going to engage.
Okay, in my description, it's not very clear what type of 5 people, but for him, his algorithm is 5 versus 3, or 2.5, or 2, depends on the culture. Sorry, yes. Hey, maybe. Hey, 5 over 3. Hey, I'm running over 3. Who do you kill? You said same thing. So you start to think, hey, because those systems, not that they will decide, they will decide based on some parameters that will describe the algorithm that we write. So let's talk about those 5 people. Let's say that all those 5 people are over 65 years old. Would you change your algorithm? Would you change your algorithm? Yeah, 65, they lived a lot, 11.
Yeah.
Maybe, but can we agree that the system can detect if they are older? Yes or no? Yes, the system can detect what type of person is in front of you. The system are really and getting better and better. So let's change this a little bit. Let's say now there are 2 people. 2, they look like male, the same age. And now the car has to decide to kill one or the other, but one is better dressed than the other one. Who would you kill?
Oh, because men suck.
That would be an algorithm written by you. You know what? There's a chance of getting the 2. I'm doing it. And there's even an extra one. I was in another block that I'll just lose control and get it. What else would be in your, what would be if you have that situation? Either A or B, similar age, and one is better dressed than the other one. Who would you pick? Who do you pick? I know, it's hard. The better guess, you want to kill the better guess. Why? What is your criteria.
Maybe they have. Like, the person's like struggling, I don't know.
So you empathize with the person might be struggling, the other one, hey, has to go, or the other way around. This person might be a business person and the other one, not. So we start to design those systems based on some criteria that have to come up. Those are the situations. I'm going to give you another example. And I want to extend an example. We agreed that those cars can see skin color. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and this is what's happening. Who's designing it? It's not that the computer is writing the code itself. Who's writing the code? Who's writing the algorithm? Us, programmers. You're right. Us. And we need criteria to do those things. Not that AI comes from heaven and those systems are designing themselves. ChatGPT is not writing itself. It's based on something that we're designing. Yes.
So I agree that these ethical issues have to come in from somewhere. But are you telling me that there's somebody saying to make decisions based on skin that are actively, that they could, but
Yeah.
nobody's probably.
So,
doing that.
okay, 1 second, transparency. Do we know how these algorithms are being written? I know, I'm pushing a little bit. You're absolutely right. Sometimes. Do we know the algorithm behind Google that I use every day? Do we know the Facebook algorithm? Do we know that? So, do we know the algorithms that are being used by car companies? Maybe the answer is sometimes. In the times that we don't, is there any accountability? Let me go to her, but I wanted to explore this a little bit. Yeah.
I was thinking like they don't just like gather data from like what they know and what they had. So maybe it's not me saying like hit this person because this is their skin color, but it's like they get it from somewhere else.
Okay, there are different things that you're saying, and I agree with you. I mean, that doesn't come from thin air. There are certain decisions based on the data that's acquired. So one thing is data acquisition, is to see, hey, this person is pregnant, is not pregnant, this, and then the car would go one way or the other. That's the decision. And why would go? It's not random. The system cannot be randomly do whatever. It has to follow some rules. Hey, if there's a situation like this, it has to go, let's say, either right or left. It cannot be like a random right or left. It needs some criteria that's designed by someone to make that decision. And someone said, yes.
No, like I get what you're saying, because I remember reading about like the controversy Google was going through because of the search engine search stuff, like let's say like smart people or whatnot, it would only be like white people, and then people were like getting offended that they couldn't even find like POC to like get pictures from. So it's like, yeah, like the machine learning is getting data from online, but the internet is so biased itself
Yeah, that's
that it creates these like issues.
If you 100%, and you don't have control of that. If you type Buzzling, unfortunately, they're going to be terrorists related to that Muslim. There are billions of Muslims in the world, and a really small percentage could be bad people, but really small. But then we have that associated with this, and then it becomes kind of like, hey, it's in the top 10 searches. So this might be the reality, but we're not challenging this. I'm going a little bit overboard just to make us think that there are humans behind this. And then someone said, hey, the driver will be killed, right? And it's like, hey, why not? Hey, just hit that thing. So there was an article, there was like an interview with the director of self-driving cars from Mercedes-Benz in Germany. It was a couple of years back. And I remember that headline that said, do not worry, the driver won't be killed. You're paying a lot of money for that thing. So you shouldn't be in the equation, because you could say you're by yourself in the car. And there are like 3 here, 5 there, and 1. If we follow that, that algorithm that I would follow, hey, 1, no brainer, boom, just hit the wall, you're done. But you paid a lot of money for that car. Maybe you deserve not to be killed. Or maybe, hey, this is a $30,000 car, but if you pay $35,000, you won't be killed. But just in case, I have a plugin for you. So these things are being done now. So there's no way that technology can go by itself. But at the same time, there are a lot of ethical questions that we have to answer. We cannot just go feed the system with whatever is in the internet, because it might be dangerous. And one of the first exercises of Google, there was like this agent that was starting to get a personality out of the internet, or things were on the internet. It was like a total hater cynical, because it was feeding from the internet and trolls and all of this. So we have a big responsibility. So it's not just let it learn. We have to be behind this, and ethics is so important. We cannot just ask ChatGPT to do our homework, because who's gonna be in the future? Why not then adapting? Hey guys, every student use ChatGPT. The best ChatGPT answer what I have will get, and then you have to at least revise what you're doing. You know, the society has to start adapting to new technology, not to block them. But until we figure things out, it's not easy to make this transition. It's not easy at all. And we're behind this. So we're doing a lot of amazing things as humanity, being trained to not be very humane. Imagine if we start to have like more training on being human, like creativity, negotiation, all the soft skills, you know, the communication skills, negotiation, creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, things that we don't usually, most of the times we don't learn at school from young age. My kids are not learning emotional intelligence, and they're like 5, 10, and 11. So I have to supply that at home in critical sense, not to take whatever they say. Does it make sense? How can we see if this is something that really happened? In the year of robots, we have to be more humans. It's not just forget to be human, because that's the counterpart. Systems that cannot exist without us, and we have to collaborate more. Sorry, more Boston Dynamics, but I like Rolling Stone. So thank you guys for listening. This is what I had to do today. Open to questions, comments. You know, this is what I had, like insights, or thoughts, no answers, but hopefully new questions. Don't be silent, but that's the worst thing for me, like anything. Yes.
This is random, but like my teacher for system programming, he gave us the answer from ChatGPT, and the homework assignment, he was like, if you don't, you'll get 0.3 if you turn this in, but you have to make it better than ChatGPT to get the full.
Did y'all hear that? Hey,
Yeah.
come on, we can ask ChatGPT, but make it better. At least reply what you have. This week, I'm teaching at Saudi Arabia, and another professor said, hey, I'm making the new test, you know, asking ChatGPT, and then I'm gonna make it better. Hey, it saves a lot of time, you know, saves a lot of time. So we might ask, why not? You're making the questions for the exam you're gonna give them. And then you see, even in your material, there's something missing that ChatGPT found, and then you go over it and make it better. So can we do that? I mean, we never talked about that. Nobody said that you as a professor had to come with this, you know, and even is it like plagiarism? I don't know, like.
I think it is, it's not your work. That's good.
Does it give you sources, like?
Yeah,
it's
it's
citing
so-
you?
If you ask, it might not, it might not. It might not, it just can give you like the play. And sometimes more creative work, like telling the story with a Bitcoin, a dragon, a unicorn, and you're like, I never heard that thing. Maybe it's getting from a storyteller in Afghanistan, but I think it's just kind of like getting data and then coming up with it. We don't know. We don't know. Sorry, there's some hands up here.
What I was gonna say is like, if you take like the stuff in ChatGPT, you put it in like 10% checkers, it comes out really well. It's not plagiarism. I don't know how that generation works. It doesn't flag it.
It will eventually, so you hear what he's saying that, hey, if you get this, and because there's some tools, and my university uses it, I'm sure here it's being used, that you can detect. If you write a thesis, it's really, you know, and again, it's about ethical ethics. So this is a big thing. You deliver a thesis and it's copied, and it's very, very, very bad. But you're saying, hey, some texts are on ChatGPT, and you bring to those systems, and they're hard to find. They're hard to figure out that this thing came from a ChatGPT. And maybe ChatGPT is not plagiarism; it's original, made by ChatGPT. You know, we start to get in a kind of like a gray area, and we don't know why plagiarism. We don't know. We don't have the sources. If we have the sources, maybe some quotes, that's fine, but that's even okay with some of the theses that we write. You have quotes, that's fine, but the other things is the whole text. So I think we have to adapt and find the new rules for that. And someone else had, yeah.
Oh, but like, I just like recently saw on LinkedIn, this like MIT AI student, he's working on a program that can detect whether it was hacked by AI.
It's always a witch in that name. But that's, I mean, this, because, and then the systems will be better to override that system. And then and that's how evolution goes. And people try to hack systems all the time. And there are all types of people. You see some people connected here, not to hear what is being said, just to draw dicks on the screen. And that's their, but that's, you know, that's what fulfills the person. You know, maybe we should have a space just for, hey, all dicks are welcome here in the wall, and then go and, you know, if it's something that you're looking for. And yeah, well, we had another purpose today. Yes.
Some of the applications you showed like the runway video, and we are in the beginning of the phase that we're gonna notice that we can do a lot of things within the report. For now, for the time, we are going to be amazed by it and we start experimenting with it. But with that also comes with the fact that we know that everything's possible, and we start losing trust then, right? And do you see the future, near future, I don't know, we might actually, our students lose interest in making media because of
In making
media, because pretty much everything could be generated, right? So can we lose interest?
I love what you're saying. And we had again a discussion about the first time you use VR, it's amazing. Second time is school. Third time, and then it's not a novelty. It's about content and what's in there. And it's a very good question. I don't know how to answer that. Because we know a little bit in movies that everything is possible. We watch Avatar, it's like, wow, that's amazing, and it's not real. Let me go 2 steps back and then I'll come back here. So I was in New York when we were the 9/11 attacks, right? So I saw the second airplane hit. So first my dad called me, and then I watched it on TV, and then it was like really bad. When I saw with my own eyes, it was absolutely, it was another dimension. I was numbed a little bit because I was watching a terrible thing on TV, and then the real world was way more. And then you see the second one hitting, and it's so right now we're seeing a lot of things being done and maybe we're not as amazed because what is the value of that? This is what you're saying, right? So maybe they might lose interest. I don't know. I think we're seeing that this is a new tool. Look at those animations based on a small video. I don't know what happened. Did you have a thoughts on
So
that?
I always remember, so we had a, I went to grad school, we had a woman called, professor called Red Burns was there, and she used to talk about, and when I hear this conversation, her words come to mind. She used to talk about getting stuck in the structure of software, meaning like if everybody's using ChatGPT, for example, to give a really simple example, you're gonna only write as well as ChatGPT can write. Where you can only do films as well as that software can do. But everybody's using the same software, so everybody's producing the same content. If you want to be original, you're going to have to go beyond that. And you're going to have to figure out how to push that limit beyond, creating something better than AI can do or something. Just because it's easy doesn't mean it's good. And you still always have to push further than that. But that is where
There's going to be a minority, like the people who do the algorithms, they're going to continue to do that. But most people now, they're using it for themselves, right? So there is that group that they define the algorithms, they know that we also have to give selfies to other people who keep doing the low level kind of advanced technology activities. So, but in the level of education, I wonder what may happen when we can do anything we want to do with media very quickly.
you're going to have to learn how to code.
Well, I would just add to that, like, we grew up with Cliff Notes and like all these other things, like, there's always some way to buck the system. And that's the low hanging fruit, and going back to what Kim says, like, those of us who want to push the envelope, learn and do better. We're gonna be creative and find different ways, we're gonna challenge ourselves, or at least I hope, and educate and find better ways to improve and do different things, so. I mean, we do have to be ethical, and I think that's a class we should do. But it's a challenging time.
Okay,
What are your questions?
absolutely. Yeah, yes, if you want to.
Well, it was just something interesting. I was reading an article the other day how we've gotten so advanced in IA to the point where we're able to let for example, like a singer like Ariana Grande take all of her, I guess, her vocals and then switch it so that she could sing like a song that like Lady Gaga wrote or something like that. So it was kind of creepy reading it, because it's like, even if the artist passed away, you could still technically make music just based off of the vocals, because they've already kind of sang every single word, and then you can just combine it into a whole new song. And so they were saying that like a lot of pop stars, generations from now could still be making more music even if they passed away. So that was a little bit weird to me.
Creepy and wonderful, but I think you're right. I think there's something called Liar, I think, or that you train anyone's voice. You just read some paragraphs and it trains your voice, and then you just get any text, and then it's going to read your voice. And I could not tell it was not me. I knew that I never read the text before in my life, but it was me. It's absolutely me. It's like, wow, it was tricking even myself. So you might say it's creepy. It sounds creepy, but at the same time, that's wonderful that Elvis Presley could, or whatever it is. I'm not that old. I'm just giving an example.
So Google has a software that works like ChatGPT, but generates music. So you can say, I want to hear a song about a snail, running across the field in the voice of Ariana Grande, style of Iggy Pop or something like that, and it will generate the whole thing for you. They don't release it because it would just wreck the music industry.
But if they don't do it,
It's also plagiarism.
Yeah.
but if they don't do it, someone else will. We don't need Google anymore. Hey, and I mean, I'm not doing it because
They have very good lawyers.
I think we have to let things. It's awful, but we cannot stop progress and change. And these things, if Google doesn't release it, some kids like us will do it eventually. That's what's happening with a lot of, so interesting times ahead of us, and happening right now. Guys, thank you very much for this afternoon of discussion. Can you take a selfie? Yeah, I mean, if you don't wanna be in the selfie, I'm totally cool with it, but. You wanna be,
I'll take it.
you take it, so you wanna be a selfie,
They won't get that.
it'll be a Kimney.
You guys don't mind going up there?
Think you're gonna stop recording?
You want to, it's optional.
It's not graded.
Um,
Wow.